here. Maybe right there. If I sit here, can you see that ditch and the riparian corridor in the background?
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily at the same time. Okay. This is the story of how the West was lost. What we have here in the far background is the riparian corridor that comprises the last free-flowing, unregulated river in the state of New Mexico. Way back 400 meters in the background. The river is currently dewatered. The water is diverted off during the dry period here, and in fact, basically year-round, into two irrigation ditches, one on each side of the river. And so this is the one on this side of the river. Why do we do that? Well, you would think we would divert the water and in fact completely de-water the river for about 3 months out of the year now. You would think, looking here in the background, that we do that to provide irrigated pasture for these livestock, for the cattle. But in fact, that's just an artifact. The state constitution requires that the water be put to an agriculturally productive capacity. The most water wasteful way to use water, to waste water, is to use it on irrigated pasture for cattle. The mining company owns most of the land and most of the water that is attached to the land here. And it takes a lot of water to separate ore from rock. So as soon as silver was discovered in the nearby town, the mining company bought up all this land because they needed the water. They have to put the water to an agriculturally productive capacity, so says the Constitution. So what they want to do is waste the water by pouring it out onto the land and capturing it in a reservoir about 6 miles downriver from here. So they can pump it 1,800 feet up across a major mountain range 30 miles away to separate the ore from the rock. So this is the story of how the West was lost. We have the single most destructive force in the history of the American West, livestock raising, cattle grazing, heavily subsidized by me and you as taxpayers, heavily subsidized by our future, heavily subsidized by non-human species, and also heavily subsidized by the second most destructive force in the history of the American West, hard rock mining. This is the story of how the West was lost, playing out every day.